Can I ask you guys a question? You probably already talked about it because you were on already for an hour. Is it me, or has the officiating gone to fucking shit?
No, actually, we talked about it, and you're very perceptive because I was complaining and bitching, Philly, that the LA Kings were about to go straight to hell because one of the best goalies in the NHL, Quick, was not being allowed to play because the opposing team was in the fucking crease the whole game. And, you know, there's only so much space to be able to skate side to side and to be able to stop. And they were blocking them from stopping. And I screamed and yelled and bitched on the Sharks trying to fuck Quick. And the officials, either they went to a race in Woodbine because they have blinders on you, or they got a big bushel of apples from the Sharks because they allowed some heinous obstruction against Quick. Now, last night, was it last night the game with LA? Last night, Quick got to play Quick, the game that he can play. And he's an incredible athlete. He is incredible. He's Gumby. He can stretch from side to side. And I think that LA is going to come back and they're going to beat San Jose.
Well, and then he must have made up for it because they allowed a goal that should have never fucking been allowed.
And there's no doubt that goal just changed that whole game, maybe changed the entire series because the Sharks.
Okay, can I stop right there? You're talking about the goal that the goalie felt that he had, that it was a dead puck, and they pushed it in. Is that what you're saying, Phil?
Yes, you can't do that. You can't push the goalie into the net with the puck.
So let's just dwell on it a little bit. Why would the officials? Here's my question to all of you guys. Why the fuck did the officials on some plays, they blow the whistle like pre-ejaculation, and then all of a sudden they lose the whistle? And in my view, and I'm going to agree with all of you, usually I don't, why what did the little ball in the whistle, because those whistles are made in Hamilton.
That's Red Fox, right?
Yeah, they're made in Hamilton. What happened to the little ball in the whistle on that play? Because they kept pushing, and they basically pushed the goalie and the puck into the net.
I think the referee just had tunnel vision at the time. He was so focused on the puck that he was not even noticing that the goalie was being pitchforked in the net. And unfortunately, you can't go up to video review for something like that.
And that's ridiculous because they review all goals, but not goalie interference on goals.
Phil, why can't they review that? I think that the coach for the San Jose Sharks had an unbelievable case in this, and in saying that, because I'm totally unbiased, I want LA to win that series, but I'm totally unbiased because I believe in fact, not fiction, and I believe the fact is 100% what you just said, Phil. It should have been blown dead, that puck. It shouldn't have been a goal. Why the fuck didn't they go upstairs, Phil?
Because it's not allowed. It's not reviewable. That's what we were talking about last Thursday, about a challenge, a coach's challenge, or make it reviewable. It's not fucking reviewable. The same thing happened to the Lightning in Montreal. Yeah. The same thing happened to, I think it was Minnesota with Colorado. The same thing. It's happened about 3 or 4 times. That changes the complexity of not only the game, the fucking series. And there's too much money out there to have these guys fuck it up all the time.
So what do you do? What do you do as a team? What do you do as a coach when a game is just, by a bad call, has flushed you down the toilet and it possibly could cost the series to San Jose?
What can you do? You can only say to the guys, okay, we got a raw call. Fuck it. We got to get out there and we got to do our game. Let's go back at them. Or what can you say? You can't do shit.
Yeah. It feels right about the money. I mean, the home games, if San Jose doesn't get to the next round and then lose because of this horrific officiating call, Doug Wilson's job might be in jeopardy. The GM, the head coach, he may lose his job. Todd McClellan, the owners will lose money.
Well, Todd McClellan was very articulate. He just said,
we got cheated.
Down to the point.
Absolutely.
He says that the turning point of the game was the bad goal. But that's all I got to say.
And just one last thing before we let Phil, Bill, and Carlin get back in. This is what bothers me. As a fan, I expect the players to play at this level in the playoffs. And for the most part, they do. I want the officials to be up here too.
Absolutely
and it
right.
Never is. It never is.
Well, why?
Especially this year.
Why?
Because there aren't enough good officials out there.
Are you saying that there's a little bias in some of the officials?
No, I'm not saying that. They're just not good.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. Are you saying that
they're just not good.
Yeah.
There aren't enough good officials.
They're not malicious. They just suck.
And Frank, what bothered me most about the Tampa series is they started a young French referee whose name eludes me. Francois was his first name. In the first Tampa-Montreal game, his first playoff game, they put him in Montreal. Now, if you're developing officials, you don't put a young French-Canadian boy in the Bell Center for his first playoff game. I'm not saying he was incapable. It was the wrong place. The second game, they had another French-Canadian official in the Bell Center. And Tampa, as Phil pointed out, got badly screwed on Carey Price's attempt to be interfered with, and they bought it. That was the game. That was the series. And those were both officials, in my estimation, who should have learned their trade somewhere other than in Montreal in a playoff game.
And Ron MacLean brings it up, and all of a sudden he's the bad guy.
I don't think Ron MacLean was the bad guy at all. I think Ron MacLean, the way he said it, could have been taken two ways. And what I was really impressed by Ron MacLean is that he articulated right away to put a stop to the bullshit where, the press...
But his point was exactly the same as Bill's.
No,
that was
I'm
exactly the wrong venue
I'm
for
agreeing with you,
him.
Carlin. I'm just saying that the press will jump on you. The English language, a word means many things.
Yeah.
And they take... And they stretch it into a million fucking words. But Ron MacLean's smart enough. He's been around a long time, and he right away jumped on himself and articulated and fixed it. And his panel knew that he was being sincere.
But
I thought he was being sincere.
And Bill is bang on. It's not that the official can't do the job, that particular French official, but not to have him do it in Montreal, and then after a Game 3 loss, have another French official the next day.
Yeah, but hear me out. I love the hockey
that's
that's...
situation.
If they're being in Minnesota, we wouldn't even be talking about this,
Look, I love the hockey.
If it was the Minnesota official, you're right.
Yeah.
I love the hockey that's been going on. Great talent, great players, great teams. I agree with everybody on the panel that the officiating has been suspect at times. And I believe that the officiating in San Jose and the LA Kings has been bizarre. I don't even know what the fuck other word I can use is bizarre. The first two games, they were totally letting everything go. They were basically body checking the goalie of the LA Kings. Quick was being body checked in his own crease. There's no room for another player in the crease. 10 years ago, when Dallas won the Stanley Cup against the Boston Bruins,
99.
Wasn't there a real controversy play?
Sabres.
Sabres,
Yeah.
Dallas in the crease, and they scored.
Yeah, that was when they had the hard and fast rule that even if you have a toenail in the crease, that the goals get called back. Brett Hull.
What
of course,
about Bunyan? Is a Bunyan? Was a
Bunyan
allowed
counts
there?
too. Yeah, you cannot have that Bunyan there, Frank. But Brett Hull scored, of course, the winner with his foot clearly in the crease. But the NHL decided just to ignore it because they wanted to put a cap on a lousy season. So we got good goal, and Dallas got the ring.
Okay, so that's my point exactly. So going back to 2014 now, some of the officiating is suspect, even though you have all these cameras all over the place. And the viewers, and especially if you watch a game on CBC where they have 10 million cameras on the ice, right? It's bizarre that the officials don't come back and apologize.
Well, I don't think they can apologize. I think that you have to be confident in your call. If you come out to the press and say, hey, I'm a fuck up, you're probably not going to get a call back.
But Frank brings up a valid point. Why can't the media, we talk to the players, if you make a mess up as a player, we get to talk to you after a game.
100%.
Well, why
That's
can't
my
we
point.
talk to the media after a game? Like it's in baseball, they have this thing. If there's a controversial umpire's ruling of some kind, they'll have a pool reporter, and once in a while we'll be able to hear from the umpire via the pool reporter. The one guy will get the quotes for
why did the
everybody.
NHL have not? I've never seen that happen in all the years of me watching.
And I
hockey.
think maybe we're going to start heading that way. We should be heading that way.
Phil, what do you think? Don't you think they should be responsible to the fans and to
That's
the
exactly
media?
what it is to the fans.
They should be responsible to the game, tell you the truth. But the truth is, the NHL says the officials are never wrong. Never.
And if they're wrong, look at rule number 1. They're never wrong.
They're never wrong. And that's the fact of an official. Have you ever heard an official say, I'm sorry, I blew that call until they fucking retire. Then they'll say it.
But they've got the equipment, Phil. What bothers me is that San Jose goal against last night. If that was not allowable, that should have been reviewed. And I know that you can't, but when you've got all the equipment in place, you should not lose a game on a mistake by an official.
Yeah, and the thing
But
that bothers me...
Billy, I agree with you. They should have reviewed that because the puck should have been whistled dead.
Yeah.
He had it trapped. It should have been whistled dead.
Like every
We're
goal
all in
is
agreement
reviewed.
on this, right?
Yeah, every goal is reviewed to make sure the puck goes over the line. Well, if we can review for that, why can't we review for goalie interference and that kind of thing?
I don't know.
I agree
That's a
100%
question.
on
Why?
that. We have the technology. We can rebuild it.
No,
Stronger,
but
faster, better than it was
what
before.
Tony is saying is if you review this, why can't you review that? Why? Well, Billy, if Tony made a valid point, there's certain, who calls that these things can be reviewed, but these things can't? Is that the...
Frank, Phil made the point, and a good one. By next year, after what just happened last night, the coaches will have a chance to have their own review, 1 or 2 a game. I don't know how many. But in that case, Todd McClellan would have thrown out his flag or done whatever he had to do, and they'd have gone upstairs and said, that should have been blown dead, no goal.
And the Board of Governors will have to make a rule.
Yeah, it's not going to be easily done, but the Board of Governors will do it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, though, this year in the meetings in West Palm Beach, they had on the agenda about having a reviewable call on a goal that was disallowed. And the general managers turned it fucking down. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But they turned it down. They voted against it. They didn't want a reviewable thing on a goal. I'll bet you $1 to a donut they'll change that for next year.
Well, I should think so. I mean, when you've got the electronic equipment to make the game as close to being perfect without human error, why don't you do it?
Yeah, good point, Bill.